From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
The NFL draft is finally here as thousands of fans supporting every NFL team descend upon Green Bay for this 3-day-long event. And we are currently in the midst of the first round of draft picks, and the Green Bay Packers have made their choice. We have team coverage of the draft with crews stationed all around Green Bay. And let's start with Eric Franke outside of Lambeau Field. This is a big one.
Yes, Sarah, this was what everybody was waiting for all day, right? Tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of fans packed in here. In fact, at one point they had to start turning fans away. We saw them coming down this aisle here behind me, heading towards the draft gates. Well, many of them started turning around because they were at capacity here. So the fans so excited, waited several hours, and finally, just about 20 minutes ago, they found out who the Packers took with that 23rd pick in the first round. For the first time in 20 some odd years, they took a wide receiver from the University of Texas. It's Matthew Golden, one of the fastest receivers that we've seen at the NFL Combine in many years. Let's go to our sports director, Zach Hanley, alongside Jason Wilde, our Packers contributor, for the very latest, what they think and the analysis of this pick. Zach?
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, Jason, what a moment, not only for the Packers, but Mark Murphy, and just how he announced 13-time world champs for the first time since 2002, and then you heard that eruption. When you think of Matthew Golden, and as a Green Bay Packer, green and golden, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think of?
Clever. I wish I'd have thought of it. I mean, look, this is 22 years in the making. Mark Murphy very excited up on stage. Obviously, this was 10 years in the making, having the draft here. But for them to draft the wide receiver, we talked about it. The idea of him being there, I wanted to see if they'd actually take Matthew Golden, who'd come in for a visit. He was here for a clinic at Titletown earlier in the week and said it would be a blessing to land here. You saw the excitement he delivered. I don't think he was supposed to speak at the podium, and he just did it. So he's excited to be here, and Packers fans are up through the roof excited about this.
Yeah, we're excited about it too. Our coverage is just getting started. Sarah, we're going to toss it back to you, and then when next time you talk to us, we'll break down more about Texas receiver Matthew Golden.
All right, guys, thanks so much. We can't wait to hear more about him. It's been a great night. In other news, the scene has just cleared after multiple agencies are responding to a vehicle crash near the Beltline. Dane County Communications says the Monona Police Department received a report of a vehicle pursuit that turned into a crash. This is near Rimrock Road and the Beltline. Multiple agencies are on the scene, but it is unclear if anyone is injured right now. We will have the latest as we learn more both on air and online at channel3000.com. And we have some showers expected for southern Wisconsin in the coming hours. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington breaks down who will see the rain.
Sarah, southern Wisconsin, we already have a few showers that have popped up right now over the western half of Dane County. This is just popping up here in the last few minutes. And as we zoom on out here across the rest of southern Wisconsin, that's probably the most consolidated area of showers, at least right now. More showers are going to be in the forecast as we move through the rest of our evening. As we go towards the early morning hours of Thursday, a few more showers really eyeing up right along U.S. Highway 151. Can't rule out a rumble of thunder as well. So showers, maybe a rumble of thunder on the way to southern Wisconsin as we move through the overnight hours. Those showers will make their way all the way up to Lambeau Field as well. Friday, you'll need that umbrella. Temperatures around 50 and highs only in the 50s here in Madison. I can promise, though, Green Bay and Madison area a nice Saturday. In-store temperatures right around 60 degrees. After that nice weekend, we have to really pay some attention in Maine weather here to alert day conditions that are in the forecast, especially for Monday going into Monday evening. In just a few minutes, I'll use Future Track to take us through Friday's rain, but more importantly, give you a projection of how Monday may pan out with dangerous storms possible in southern Wisconsin.
Thank you, Alex. In other news, one person is in jail after allegedly assaulting multiple people on State Street last night. Madison police say they responded to the area of West Gilman and State Street after getting a call about a man assaulting several people. Police saw a man matching that suspect's description and tried to stop him, but he ran away. After a short chase, officers arrested him and took him to the Dane County Jail. This afternoon, dozens of construction workers and advocates marched through downtown Madison. This was the 10th annual Workers' Memorial Day processional. Our Merrill Hubbard shows us what the workers are walking for.
The sound of the pipes signal the start to the march, where step by step these Wisconsin construction workers and advocates remember the lives of workers who have died due to workplace injuries.
We're all brothers and sisters in construction.
In just the last year, 16 construction workers in Wisconsin have lost their lives on the job.
Many of the families of these fallen construction workers will be present, and we think that's important because we want the families to know that their loved ones aren't forgotten. We're here to remember them because, again, we have that common thread.
Terry McGowan is of Local 139, a Wisconsin union that represents heavy equipment operators like Stephen Jornis.
We're all hoping that every day we can come home. I got a wife, I got kids. I want to see them every day.
Stephen's been in construction for more than 40 years. He's often driving a bulldozer along high-speed highways.
You just never know when one bad small thing might happen, and it could be the worst. I mean, I want to go home every day. Sorry.
Stephen says his son also works in the trades and saw a coworker get severely injured in his first week on the job.
Made me think if that was my son. It's tough to think about, and so anyhow, try to stay positive. Try to always look out for each other.
Walking together with hard hats and heavy hearts is all to call for stronger workplace safety and protections.
It's more than just a small blurb in a newspaper print. It's to let them know that their loved ones mean something to us.
Reporting in Madison, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
And that walk concluded at St. Patrick's Church, where they held a service for the lives lost from work-related injuries. Well, the housing crisis in Wisconsin has led to what feels like constant construction of new apartment buildings, but it's also led some to get creative when it comes to fighting homelessness. Our Maddie Heimsch takes us to a new living space in an old space.
When Royce Elementary School closed its doors in 2011, its youngest students were just 4 years old. Now those students are graduating high school, just as Royce is opening its doors back up.
And this is our 2-bedroom setup.
What students once called homeroom, residents will call home.
The whole point of Next Steps was to provide a space where families can have a space to kind of realign and get back on their feet.
In an effort to create transitional housing, the Next Steps Family Resilience Center converted the once empty elementary school to living spaces where families in need can stay for up to 2 years.
Royce is kind of in the heart of all of the families we serve. So one, it's easy access. Two, there's public transportation right along this street. So we're hoping to minimize as many barriers as possible.
Breaking down those barriers included a couple walls to transform classrooms into 2- and 3-bedroom apartments.
It's just surprising to know that there was a classroom in here.
The total for the project, $8.3 million. But it's not just for the 18 housing units.
To provide families not only with the housing, but also the staff and the agencies and resources that they need to kind of get back on their feet.
One wing of the building now houses a child care center, and the gym set to become a community room for local groups to hold workshops and events.
So it's one of our biggest communities in need, and neighborhoods specifically.
A neighborhood staple, still serving families, just trading desks and chairs for beds and kitchen tables.
The first families are expected to move in starting in May. Reporting in Beloit, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
And the next step will be taking referrals for future residents from agencies who work with people experiencing homelessness. Well, this year, Greek mythology is taking the main stage in McFarland. This weekend from April 25th through the 27th, McFarland High School students will be performing their rendition of The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical. This is based on the best-selling novel and follows Percy Jackson as he discovers that he is a demigod. It's a tale that is fun for all ages with a rock score, epic quests, and legendary monsters.
There's a lot of on-stage combats, which has been very fun to learn. A lot of sword fighting, a lot of singing. I am on stage for every song and a lot of singing, very vocally demanding, but everyone sounds great and everyone's been doing amazing.
and having a blast. Again, the show runs from Friday through Sunday. Tickets are $18 for adults, $12 for seniors and kids, and a link to purchase can be found on our website, channel3000.com. Well, May is Hmong Heritage Month, and this year marks 50 years since the first set of Hmong citizens arrived in the U.S. Our Tanisha Shaw is showing us how Sun Prairie Area School District is celebrating.
I feel like our story is hidden so much, you know, no one knows, like, not a lot of people know who we are.
A culture that was once silenced is being heard in Sun Prairie.
Hmong people was a part of that Vietnam War, which they call the Secret War. It's called secret for a reason, you know, because not a lot of people know it. And I want them to know that our people fought alongside the United States, and basically young people were recruited, you know. A lot of people have passed away.
Jennifer Mina Yang is a first-generation Hmong American.
They were so young. I think they were 15. Oh, wow. And they both, their story is incredible. I think they both said, you know, what they wanted is envisioned as a dream to have something more in life. And living in a refugee camp in Thailand could not provide them the dream they were hoping for.
After seeing the struggles that her parents went through, she became inspired to create spaces that properly represent Hmong culture. She's the Hmong and bilingual liaison for the entire Sun Prairie School District.
To think that 50 years ago, where we first were in Southeast Asia and Laos, was where a lot of our parents were born, and having to go through war and fight for, you know, freedom.
Gang organized Hmong Heritage Month Thursday, a packed event with live performances, food, and more.
The Hmong community is such a beautiful culture, and we love to share.
This is not only a great time to celebrate Hmong history, but also to preserve it. Sun Prairie Area School District says they're using this celebration to show what Hmong history really is.
The clothes that you're seeing and even the large turnout is significant.
A lot of the times we weren't able to speak our language, so history says, or what we're talked about, is that we would put secret codes in our textiles.
A culture that remembers the hardships of the past while embracing the accomplishments that they've made along the way.
I'm very proud of my community, my culture, the resilience that we are able to reroot ourselves and regrow as a community.
Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanisha. And still to come on News 3 Now at 10, Alex tells us about some rain and then a dry weekend ahead. And the first round of the NFL draft still underway, and we have Matthew Golden. We'll tell you more when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back, everyone. An exciting night here. Round one of the NFL draft is still going on, but the Green and Gold made their pick just before 10 o'clock here. Wide receiver Matthew Golden from Texas. We want to hear more about him. Let's head back out to Green Bay. That's where we find Eric Franke live outside of Lambeau Field.
That's right. The Packer fans starting to file out as the first round is wrapping up here at Lambeau Field. You know, earlier all these fans were going that way, and my big concern was, how are people going to get home tonight at a decent hour? Because normally for a football game, they just don't have this much volume of people here. This is 200,000 or so, and the stadium's 80,000. And I'll tell you, this was a special night. About a half hour ago, they found their golden child in Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas. And for more analysis on that big pick that so many were waiting for tonight, we go to sports director Zach Hanley alongside our Packers insider Jason Wilde.
Yeah, Eric, Green and Golden, the golden pick, however you want to phrase it. The Packers have got their guy, but we were just talking. He's from Houston, 2 seasons in Houston, then played at Texas. It's a little colder here during the football season.
Yeah, he just got the golden ticket to the frozen tundra, so that will be an adjustment. But look, he is fast. He ran the fastest 40 time in the entire draft at 4.29 seconds. He plays a position that is of need both in the short term, with Christian Watson being out with the ACL tear until at least November, and in the longer term because Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs are both in the last year of their contracts. If there was ever a year for the Packers to break the 22-year streak, it was this year, and it was with this player who had been here for a visit, who was here before the draft started, said it would be a blessing to be a Packer, and now he is. And he looked pretty excited about it as well.
Well, and you just mentioned that. This was the perfect time to get a wide receiver and get his skill set.
Well, look, we don't know what the future holds for Jaden Reed, right? He's led them in receiving the last 2 years. We think he's a good player, second-round pick 2 years ago, but he has a jump to make. Dontavion Wicks has a jump to make. We don't know what to expect from Romeo Doubs. He had the concussions at the end of the season. He had the suspension at the beginning of the season when he didn't come to work. And then you've got Christian Watson and his injury and those contract situations. So this was, you could say he was the best player available. I think he was, but he also fit a need and a big one.
So Matthew Golden, 58 receptions, 987 yards, and 9 touchdowns at Texas. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Besides Javon Walker, right, 2002, obviously Matthew Golden, 2025. Who are the other 3? I'll give you 4 first-round Packer receivers.
So channel3000.com readers know that I've been loving this stat for weeks. 2 of them are Hall of Famers. James Lofton in 1978 out of Stanford, and Sterling Sharp in 1988 out of South Carolina. Okay. And then Barry Smith in 1973. That was so long ago, I was only 1. I don't know how old you were when Javon Walker came along, but you were pretty young.
What about, you remember Larry Elkins in 1965?
I'm using the Super Bowl era. That's before the Super Bowl era. He doesn't count on my list.
All right, Jason, we'll check back with you guys in a couple minutes because we're going to look ahead at what's coming tomorrow for the Packers. But for now, live in Green Bay, Zach Hanley and Jason Wilde, News 3 Sports.
All right, I'm glad that I wasn't part of those questions. Now, we have some rain moving through the Madison area, but I do know that Alex Harrington knows the forecast.
Yes, and a nice weekend, too. We got to look at some of the nice stuff because we got a lot of stuff that isn't quite so nice in our forecast. But how about this on for size? 60 Saturday, 67 on Sunday. Thunderstorm chances build in, though, later Sunday night. That is a hint as we head towards Monday. Monday is going to be a dangerous day in the upper Midwest. We have showers right now on Radar 3000, eyeing up 39 off towards the west, the western half of Dane County. A few raindrops. You might need the windshield wipers a little bit if you happen to be driving out and about yet tonight. And a spattering of showers west of 39. Those showers are going to become more widespread as we carry through the evening into the early morning hours. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm or 2, but not severe thunderstorms. That I want to stress. We're not expecting severe weather tonight. More of the garden variety thunderstorms, some lightning, and you can't rule out a little bit of small hail. More persistent shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, entering 3-4 o'clock in the morning as Savannah gets in here and you join her for the morning show here. Those showers, couple isolated thunderstorms, especially for U.S. Highway 151 in north and west around 6 o'clock in the morning. As we head towards 10, 11 o'clock, those showers progress off towards the east and we stick with the clouds. So it's going to be a bit on the soggy side for parts of southern Wisconsin on Friday and a cooler day as well. About a quarter, maybe half inch at most north and west of 151 as we go into Friday, lesser amounts towards the south and towards the east of Madison. Then all attention turns to Monday into Tuesday. This weather system really means business, folks. It could be a significant severe weather episode for much of the upper Midwest, getting some updates as we speak here right now. But when you already have yellow and you have these tan colors, even into parts of southwest Wisconsin, this is an elevated risk of severe weather and it's 4 days away. There's high confidence in this event. Let me show you what I'm confident in, and this is the future track projection showing some scattered thunderstorms Monday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Savannah will be here. We could be looking at some possibility of some hail, severe sized hail at that time Monday morning. Hopefully it's nothing like what we just experienced the other morning. A break in precipitation as we go into Monday afternoon. That isn't good because that break allows the heat to prime up, building up out ahead of a cold front that slices through warm and relatively humid air for this time of year. Potentially severe thunderstorms at this time Monday night. All hazards would be possible. Damaging winds, large hail, a couple of tornadoes can't be ruled out. That sweeps through, and I want you to take note here, though. We have alert days for Monday going on into Tuesday. Cold front likely coming through late morning. That would end the severe weather risk. We might be able to limit, I should say, the alert day conditions for Tuesday if that cold front exits. But morning hail, the best chance for severe weather, hopefully it doesn't materialize, would be Monday evening and overnight. Good news is the rainfall that we have experienced lately, that is eliminating drought across southern Wisconsin. So that's certainly something that's a benefit of the rain, just not the severe weather. 40s tonight with showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm developing. Highs only in the low to mid 50s with showers, particularly in the morning. You'll need that umbrella, and all attention again then turns to alert day Monday with severe thunderstorms, a possibility by Monday night. You're going to want to stick around here. We got a Packer fan that you're going to want to see as News 3 Now at 10 continues in a bit.
And welcome back to Lambeau Field. Zach Hanley alongside Packers correspondent Jason Wilde. They got their guy, right? Matthew Golden, who just said that he's going to come walk across the street and get a workout in Lambeau Field. But the time it took to make the pick, maybe they were trading back, trying to make a trade too?
Well, certainly they had some opportunities. They got calls from multiple teams. I know Jordan Schultz reported that the Eagles were calling. Look, they had a choice. They could accumulate more picks, which we know Brian Gutekunst wants, or they could take a wide receiver who just got done saying, hey, Jordan Love, you've got someone you can count on, you can trust me. So I think that they were probably tempted, but I think when we talk to Brian Gutekunst in a few minutes, I think he's going to say, hey, we listened to the trade offers, but we liked the player more than what we heard from these other teams.
All right, so tomorrow, 2 picks, 1 in the 2nd round, 1 in the 3rd round for now. Where do they go? Edge rusher, cornerback?
So, Eric and I spent a lot of time yesterday talking about needs, right? So check the box on the wide receiver now. Still defensive line, still offensive line, and still corner. It's interesting that they had a couple of corners that were highly regarded on the board when they took Matthew Golden. So that remains a need. Are those guys going to be available when they pick again in round 2? I'm not sure. Some edge rushers went, but not all the good edge rushers that were appealing in the 1st round. So there's some options there. And remember, Josh Simmons, who's the offensive lineman from Ohio State, they had him in for a visit. He had a major knee injury. He's still going to, looks like anyway, make it to the 2nd round. Maybe that's someone that they get who could have been a 1st-round talent in the 2nd round.
Sounds like they got a couple of options. Well, that wraps up our coverage from day 2. For Jason Wilde, I'm Zach Hanley. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
Finally, tonight, the Packers are hosting a competition to try to find their biggest fan. One of the 5 finalists happens to have 4 legs. Aww. This is Scout, and guess what? A 4-month-old golden retriever. We just picked Matthew Golden. You got to love that, from his bandana to his treats. We'll see if Matthew has any of those. Scout is surrounded by green and gold. His owner says when they went to get him for the first time, he was wearing a green collar, so it was meant to be. And you can vote for this at Packers Superfan Picks until May 1st. So it's a place to go to vote.
And good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta love Scout. Yeah, and we've got some rain coming.
Rain for Friday. You'll need your umbrella, but all attention really is keep tuning into the First One Weather Team for the very latest on Monday's alert day conditions, where we could have some dangerous storms in the area.
We will stay tuned. Thank you, Alex. And thanks so much for joining us for this special edition of News 3 Now at 10.